the video.
I got that sunshine in my pocket. Ooh!
She just want to come say hi.
Hey, girl.
Hi.
Can you say Q&A Monday?
Monday.
Good, that's good. We will take it. We're going to actually look at questions from you guys on YouTube and then our Patreon, and we're just going to answer a smorgasbord. I love using the word smorgasbord. We're going to answer a smorgasbord of questions.
If you like it, go for it.
We'll go for it.
Our first question is from Guy on YouTube, and he wants to know, do you think that because Hensley is so young and most likely will not remember all the sights that you're seeing, should you have stayed in a house for another 4 or 5 years and saved up money until she was old enough to remember?
I think it would have been a little easier, probably, if she was a little bit older, but I think every age has its challenges. Hensley, what are you doing? And you'll see way more families with kids in that 5 to 10 range because they're not old enough where they're entrenched as much maybe in what's around them, but they're not so young that they maybe won't remember. You've got a lot of the challenges with a toddler. But I don't regret doing this at her age.
Like, she is learning so much, and they are little sponges when they're little like this. So I think she's just really soaking up so much knowledge and information. This is the most important time of her life, probably. She's developing who she is and all this brain power. So we thought this would be a good time for her to grow and learn.
I think there's a reason not to do this at any age or any point in your life, and you've just got to kind of go for it if you think you can do it. This is from David and Janice on Patreon. Says, looking back on different RVs you've had, would you say the Airstream is your favorite? We're in the process of trying to decide what to get between a fifth wheel and an Airstream. We don't have a tow vehicle yet, but our decision would dictate what we would get as far as a truck or van like you have. So I think that is the right way to go about it, is you choose what kind of RV you want before you get your tow vehicle. It would really stink if you went and got like a $60,000 truck and then realized, oh man, we want a motorhome. As far as the Airstream being our favorite, that's really tough. It's like saying which one's best, travel trailer, fifth wheel, motorhome. I think best is tough because it depends on the person, depends on what they want to do. I think the most important question to ask is what kind of RVing are you going to do first, and then secondly, do a ton of research getting into these different RVs, and then you can kind of figure out which one's the best fit for you. Right now, the Airstream's our favorite, but I would say last year, the motorhome would have been our favorite, and then possibly a year before that, the fifth wheel might have been our favorite. So it's just where we were at those different times with the style of camping we wanted to do dictated that.
The fifth wheel was my favorite full-time living space because we just had so much room, and Hensley had her own bunk room, but you know, traveling was kind of tough in that one. So the motorhome, I loved the conveniences. I think motorhomes are super convenient. And then the Airstream is just, you know, offered us more flexibility and just gave us a peace of mind about traveling, and everything's been just a little less stressful. So
I think a good way to summarize it: fifth wheel space, motorhome convenience, and then Airstream flexibility.
Yeah.
Oh, and she added too, did we miss the space of a fifth wheel? Yes.
I think you're always gonna miss space.
Hi, welcome to Tiny Town. And that's a tiny micro house.
Yeah, it's very, very efficient.
See this kitty litter box?
Out of sight.
I'm just hanging out watching TV.
I'm just taking a bath. Oh, I'm ready to wash my hair.
I can't see the TV now.
What did you want, cream?
Yeah. Okay. You're always breathing down the back of my neck. It's like I can feel your hot breath on me all the time.
There you go. Bon appetit.
So. Okay.
It's not like we don't miss
Yeah,
space.
it's not like that
get.
goes away and you're like, oh, I just love living in this tiny little space. RPM 750 on YouTube wants to know, when we're gone and leaving our Airstream for the day, how do we secure it?
Okay, so right now, we're just using a deadbolt, but I need to get a trailer hitch lock, is what a lot of people do, which actually simulates the trailer ball that goes up and has a much thicker lock mechanism or whatever on it. But we basically just lock it, then we lock up the door. And most of your trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, whatever, they've got just a regular lock and a deadbolt lock. I will say on our Airstream, I've used the deadbolt on it in addition to the other lock, and it's a very secure deadbolt lock. And sometimes people will also leave radios on, TVs on, all that kind of stuff too, I guess to maybe deter people if they're walking around. And we put all of our curtains down everywhere in the RV to make it harder to look into the RV, so nobody really knows if somebody's in there or not for sure. And then we let insurance take over. So we hope.
We also, if something is super important, we'll take it
Yeah,
with us.
yeah.
We've,
It depends on the area too. Sometimes you
Yeah.
get a feel, and like just because you're boondocking and maybe it looks like we're in the middle of nowhere, sometimes we meet the people around us and get a feel for it, and they know who we are, they know what vehicle we're driving, so it's not like you're totally isolated with nobody around you a lot of the times. So that's an option too. Make friends with the neighbors so that it maybe deters that kind of thing or gives you a little bit more confidence. Ultimately, it's like our backup to the backup is we have insurance. If it gets stolen, we have full coverage and it'll cover that kind of thing. Now, I hear RVs that are like put in storage getting broken into. I've heard of that. But as far as people like who live in RVs and go boondocking, rarely ever heard of anything like that. Much more common to hear of like houses getting broken into and neighbors and neighborhoods and stuff like that. It could happen no matter what you're in, apartment, house, RV, anything. And then in addition on the insurance question, Cindy, added, there's a comment thread on this too, some stuff on this. Says your insurance ain't going to do a world of good when you're stuck out in the middle of the Mojave Desert. Plus you never get full value or replacement value despite what the insurance policy or salesperson promised you. I don't know what she means by being stuck in the desert. Does that just mean... I guess if you're in a motorhome and it gets stolen and you're like maybe on a walk or something, that would be really bad. But I mean, if our Airstream gets stolen, we'll still have our van. So it'll be a pain, no doubt. If something gets stolen, you have to mess with the paperwork. And but I'm going to assume, this is an assumption, you guys may know more than me about this. I've had vehicles totaled and I made money on those vehicles. You make or lose your money on a vehicle / RV or whatever when you buy it. So whether you try to sell it or it gets stolen or you total it, the value of that vehicle has already been determined. Make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean...
Yeah. So her statement of you will never get full value or replacement value, I don't know if that's always true. Carol on Patreon asked, how many years have you guys been married? 5. Right?
Good answer.
5 as of May 26th.
Mike Johnson on YouTube wants to know what lens we're using for our love-hate relationship video.
Say it's a 12 millimeter.
12 meteor.
Me, 12 millimeter.
It's a 12 millimeter on the Panasonic GH5. It's f-stop's 1.4 on it. And we also use a lot. It's a 7 to 14. That's our zoom lens we use. That's the really wide one. It's a 7 to 14 millimeter. What we use for the wide stuff. So Debbie on Patreon asks, does your fridge run on propane? Yes, it runs on propane or electric. So that's pretty cool. If you're boondocking, you can just kick it over to propane when you need to. The main thing we do though, when we're boondocking, we swap even though we have our generator and it could have the refrigerator run on electric, we always keep the refrigerator on propane when we're boondocking so that the generator doesn't have to put out so much power. We want other stuff to go to the generator power.
Speaking of generators, Faith Takes Flight, which we love. We've met them.
Yeah,
they're great.
great.
She said, do you guys end up running your generator for the AC when the temperatures get hot?
In our motorhome, yes, we did it a lot. That generator was a beast. You could flip it on, you could run 2 massive ACs at the same time, your microwave, anything you wanted. The one we have now, however, has not been as powerful. We tried it one time, right, with AC.
We just kind of turned it on for a second to see.
Yeah, we did a test, and it had a hard time with it. So I don't know. I'm still trying to find out if it's the generator that's not putting out enough power, or sometimes the problem is your RV has a lot of things running in the background that could be taking electricity. By the specs, our generator should not have an issue running the AC.
And Mike on YouTube, he wants to know what the etiquette for generator use on BLM land is.
I would say if you're boondocking and you're super close to somebody else, like 30, 50 feet away, I would say it'd probably be too cool to leave it running 24/7. But in general...
Especially for the people who aren't using their generator, because we usually have our windows open because we need some kind of air circulation. So we've got all our windows open. So it's kind of just like, yeah, that's kind of, you can run it. There's not any rules, but I guess he's saying etiquette-wise, like, it's just kind of thinking about the people around you, I guess.
Glenn and Denise on Patreon ask, I would like to know how you like your Betty's bedding.
We actually love our beddies. It's
You gotta say Betty's bedding.
Betty's bedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to say that.
It's got zippers on the side, so it's really easy to make your bed, and it's almost like a huge sleeping bag. Really cool because it's like the fitted sheet is also your sheet, and then your blanket zips around you. We've used it, about 6 months now?
Yeah, we love it.
Good quality, super soft, and I mean, it keeps us warm when it's cold, but it's not too warm when it's hot.
Yeah.
I mean, we really like it. So if you're interested, check them out. And they also gave us a coupon code for 20% off your entire purchase, LJMJ20.
It's bettys.com and you can use the coupon code there. So Jane on YouTube asks, interested in solar panels. Do you have to remove them when you travel? How do the panels stand up to weather, wind, rain, all that kind of stuff? The cool thing about solar panels is once you make that initial investment in the solar panels, it's not as cheap up front as like a generator or something like that. But once you make the investment and have it set up the way you want it, you don't have to do much of anything to it. You might have to get up there and clean them off and make sure the sun's getting to the panels every once in a while. But unless you want to set them up where you tilt the panels or you have a portable one that you move out, we've gone the route where we don't want to do that. We're just going to bolt all ours to the top of the Airstream because we don't have a ladder on the back either. So I'd have to get out a ladder, make sure it's cushioned, get on there and tilt them. I know I'm not going to tilt them. So very little to any maintenance with ours. The rain doesn't bother them. They just sit there and do their thing.
We definitely want to share what we've learned, and hopefully you can find that somewhat helpful.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a YouTube video, so it has to be true. But if you do feel like double checking anything we've said, feel free to do that. Put it in the comments. We do our best to share what we've experienced and what we know, but we don't have the right answers for everything.
No. And we let you know that when we
Yes.
don't.
Yes.
But we definitely appreciate you guys commenting, asking questions, and we love interacting with you guys, and we hope that what we share is helpful, and we thought this was a good way for us to kind of answer some of those questions that we keep getting.
We get a lot. We try to answer what we can in written form, but it's good to do it.
We try to read them all too.
We do our best.
Yeah, we might not can get to every single thing, but we really try. So
Well, we're gonna wrap it up, and we will catch you guys later.